Hello, my name is Leonard Menudo, and today I'll be talking about the collapse of Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns was an investment bank located in New York City and was one of the largest investment banks in the United States, and that was before the Great Recession in 2008. Now, Bear Stearns was known for taking gigantic risks. In 2007, Bear Stearns hedge fund collapsed, and that was due to the buyout of all these toxic mortgages. So basically, a toxic mortgage is a mortgage given from a bank to a mortgagor with no background checks, no credit checks, nothing. So they're given this mortgage and they don't have enough money to pay the mortgage, which results in a default in their payments and eventually a foreclosure on the house. So this impacted Bear Stearns significantly because basically his whole portfolio was filled with toxic mortgages. So these people couldn't pay their mortgage, and as a result, Bear Stearns was making no money, and the company just nosedived. So in 2008, the housing market crashed, and Bear Stearns company followed with it. So on a Thursday, I believe, the company was listed at $150 a share. And the following day, the stock plummeted 94%. So everyone began to panic, the investors, the company, everyone. So Bear Stearns went to the Federal Reserve and asked for a buyout because they just didn't have the money to pay all these investors because their toxic mortgages just destroyed them. So as a result, the Federal Reserve said, you know what, we can't help you, we're not gonna buy you out, because if we buy you out, other investment banks are gonna look at this and say, you know what, we could take more risk and be bailed out by the Fed. So as a result, JP Morgan offered Bear Stearns a deal. They said, we'll buy out your company for $2 a share, which was ridiculous, but Bear Stearns had no choice. So Bear Stearns accepted the offer and was eventually bought out by JP Morgan. Now, a few strategies that could have been implemented by Bear Stearns was maybe stricter background checks and a diversified portfolio. Now, I understand Bear Stearns wasn't the one giving the background checks because essentially they bought the mortgages from all these banks, but maybe before they bought them, let's say, for example, the Bear Stearns was buying these mortgages from a bank and they wanted to buy 100 mortgages. Maybe they could have done a way where before they bought the 100 mortgages, they were able to do background checks on the mortgagors to see what their income was and if they were able to pay back these mortgages. So now, if they did that, they could have been around today. So another thing is a diversified portfolio. Their whole portfolio was filled with these toxic mortgages. Now, let's say they just maybe had 2 or 3 other things, like maybe they were trading currencies or invested in, let's say, real estate or whatever. That maybe there would have been a way that they could have bounced back from the toxic mortgages from the other 2 sectors.